Hello, Intactivists! In the news this week, we have Intact America, Foregen, Hoodie by Nature, Restored Members, Gaudav, 15 Square, and much more coming up. In POTS news, the cyber ad campaign, we have reached over 1 million people. Circumcision law reform, breaking the cut, Hoodie by Nature, and of course POTS is spearheading this campaign. We're also getting some help from Darwin. He's brand new in helping POTS. Also, a special thanks to our donors and those who do the POTS e-commerce program and the Carebuzz. All of this helps us out a lot. Remember to join my Discord where you can go and volunteer on making Intactivism and POTS better. We have lots of jobs and it's very easy to be helpful. In the video special this week, review of the global outreach of POTS, we reviewed the cyber awareness/protesting campaign. Unfortunately, less than 40 people watched it. I find it interesting that people do complain that they don't know what POTS is doing, and we go into detail of what we are doing, and then they don't watch the video. So it's kind of like very frustrating when that happens. So if you guys could spread that a little bit, that would be great. All right, and Melina is back on POTS. Her part 2 interview just got released this Saturday, answering many difficult questions about Judaism and the compatibility between Judaism and Intactivism. It got 11 likes and 2 dislikes, so when you watch it, let me know how you guys feel about it. I know this is a tough subject to talk about, and no matter what you say, you will make someone upset, so I definitely appreciate Melina taking that on, and I'm actually surprised that Brahim did not chime in at all. Like, this is their wheelhouse. Kind of thinking out loud. But hey, I would like to hear what Bream has to say about that interview, honestly. Speaking of religion, in Restored Members news, Restored Members recently had a video released. He went on air with We Think Freely Radio to discuss deconstructing from Abrahamic religions, from ritual child abuse to ancient comparative mythology. We share the journey of escaping trauma-based mind control. You guys can definitely go ahead and watch that if you want, and definitely give this a like so it pushes out to more people in the algorithm. And don't forget to leave a comment, because that definitely does help as well. And thank you, Dr. Pecker, for reminding people to go ahead and like and comment below and subscribe. Thank you. I definitely appreciate it. So guys, definitely listen to Dr. Pecker on that one and go like this video as well. But I will say this is a kind of a longer video. It is 2 hours long, so feel free to break this up into chunks if you want to. Definitely go ahead and watch it if you're into Intactivism and also religion. You might learn something new. Actually, you probably will learn something new, honestly. All right, and in Foregen news, Foregen just published a brand new commentarium, Healing the Harm, Restoring Wholeness. This was published October 9th. All right, so this talks about what they said on their white papers. Nothing too much brand new here. Talks about ethics, a sensory and psychological loss. And then the most interesting part about this is this paragraph right here. The demand is massive. Says these are not isolated feelings. To quantify this profound demand, we sponsored a survey in 2022 that delivered an astonishing finding. An estimated 21% of circumcised males in the U.S., approximately 18.3 million men, would potentially consider a surgical procedure to regrow their foreskin and fully reverse their circumcision. Now, I actually went ahead and I made a video about how this is very, very bad for Intactivists, because so many men want this. We talk about the tissue supply crunch in a Foregen review video. It's in the playlist that we have, and also how this will most likely affect the cost of you getting the Foregen surgery. So definitely go ahead and check out those 2 videos. Says this immense figure confirms that we are addressing a critical overlooked crisis. This enduring desire for restoration rooted in the suffering of those who have been harmed directly fuels our dedication to creating a tangible path for men to reclaim their bodily integrity and function. Also, another thing that's pretty interesting, if about 18 million men would want to go ahead and regrow their foreskins, why is Foregen not getting, I don't know, 100 million every single year. You know, I feel like that would be pretty easy for 10 million guys to just put in $10 a year if 18 million men would want this. But instead, Foregen has maybe 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, maybe 5,000. I don't know. But anyways, I'm not so sure how accurate this survey is. I'm pretty sure that they went ahead and did some extrapolations off of a small poll of people that they asked on this 2022 survey. Then it says, how can you help us meet this need? Yeah, it just says your continued support is essential to closing the gap between the profound need for restoration and the realization of our scientific solution. So they don't even say, hey, we need money. They just kind of hint at it. But yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and read their white paper, you can. It is about 10 pages long. Pretty much if you go ahead and read it and you've been following Foregen, you already know. But this section right here is pretty interesting to me when it says our values, which is on page 6 out of 14. It says the right to an open future is an ethical principle asserting that decisions made for a child should preserve rather than prematurely foreclose significant life choices and opportunities they would otherwise have as an adult. By circumcising a child, a procedure that is currently irreversible, the individual is deprived of their future option to remain intact. This removes a fundamental choice about their own body. Conversely, if a child is not circumcised, his right to choose is fully preserved. He can always make this decision as a sovereign, self-directed adult. This non-consensual permanent alteration of a minor's body thus constitutes a preemptive harm to autonomy, directly limiting their fundamental right to determine their future bodily state. And then it talks about the concept of bodily integrity, and restorative justice offers a framework for addressing harm by focusing on repairing the damage done, meeting the needs of those harmed, and reintegrating them into a state of wholeness. I feel like if these are their values and this is what they're writing for scientific purposes, I feel like they're going to have a really hard time getting grants because there's going to be some communities not super happy about Foregen telling adults what they can and can't do with their children. But I don't know, maybe I'm looking too far into this, but let me know what you guys think. Do you think that this is going to affect them getting grants from people because Foregen is trying to tell adults what to do and not do with their children? Let me know down in the comments section. And in Intact America news, I actually thought this was Intact America news, and luckily my BS detector went off a little bit, and I noticed that none of this here had Intact America logos on it, and I didn't even know who this person was here, and I was like, why didn't they go ahead and tag him? And it also, this picture looks really grainy too, and it doesn't look like a multi-million-dollar company took it, and there was just a whole bunch of reasons why that it wasn't making sense to me, and there wasn't even an Intact America t-shirt really on here, and just no Intact America anywhere. Obviously this is a watermarked picture right down here, but I was like, this is odd, and I was just like, what? And if you read this, it says, when the American Academy of Pediatrics met in New Orleans, Intact America was there, standing for the voiceless. Now, if you just go ahead and read that, you'd be like, oh, wow, Intact America, they were there protesting recently. That is not the case. And luckily, I looked into this. The His Body, His Rights is not on Intact America Zazzle at all. I checked through there. This person might be Chris right here, Chris Moore, I think, maybe. This might be Chris. But I did look it up. This took me like an hour of research, guys. It says, did the AAP meet in New Orleans this year? Now, it says that from AI, the American Academy of Pediatrics did not hold its main national convention and exhibit in New Orleans in 2025. The most recent AAP event in New Orleans was the 2019 National Conference and Exhibition. Guys, this being in 2019 means that this here was 6 years ago. So Intact America posted this picture currently October 10th, and honestly, most people would think, oh, this was pretty recent, but that's not the case. It was 6 years ago, and I could not imagine like bragging and boasting about my company for something we did 6 years ago for something that most groups protest and do demonstrations, like every month or so. Like, that to me, that rubs me the wrong way. I feel like I've been tricked, and I just wanted to point this out, that Intact America, they love posting things that are very, very far outdated. So just pay attention to that. I've been noticing that Intact America has been doing that lately. In Hoodie by Nature news. So Hoodie by Nature dropped an awesome new song, Why'd You Cut Me Down? Why'd You Do That To Me? Super awesome song. Definitely go ahead and check it out. Don't forget to like and, of course, comment down below. It does help get this song pushed out. And yeah, guys, be super awesome if you guys went ahead and liked it. And just comment Potts sent me. If Potts lets you know that Hoodie by Nature just dropped a brand new song, just comment that. It would still help with the algorithm. Just listen to 1 minute of his song. That's it, just 1 minute. That still helps. So thank you guys in advance. And in TTP news, the GLMA 25 thematic analyst of transgender, intersex, and gender diverse experiences of violated genital autonomy. So this was a report made by TTP and a few others. And the most important thing that I got from this was two things. So these two paragraphs here says that the discussion conclusion, healthcare professionals should address the trauma and sequel associated. I looked up sequel, that's a spelling error. I don't know what he tried to say there, but there's a spelling mistake, which is interesting because there's 6 people that made this, and I guess they missed that spelling error. Or maybe I'm just not smart. I don't know. Could be that. Anyways, trauma and sequel associated with violations of genital autonomy across sex and gender identities. This research calls for greater accountability for clinicians regarding imposed genital modifications and advocates for centering patient autonomy in healthcare decision-making. Learning objectives. By the end of this presentation, participants should be able to differentiate between imposed genital modifications and person-centered genital autonomy across transgender, intersex, and gender diverse population. Identify the unique challenges faced by transgender, intersex, and gender diverse individuals who have experienced violations of genital autonomy. Apply the principles of autonomy and subsidiary when developing clinical protocols for gender-affirming care and addressing concerns of patients who have experienced unwanted genital modifications. What I noticed in this is none of this was trying to get across the point that circumcision was bad for anybody except for like LGBT, or not even LGB, just the T and I, really. But I guess this is a win for Intactivists. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. Also, while TTP seemed to have decent success with this event, during his victory lap, he decided to go ahead and take a quick jab at the Bloodstained men and their friends on the Intact Global's Discord. Quote from TTP, "Who knows what people will do with what we taught them, but what I do know is that we had incredible outreach at GLMA just by being present, visible, and heard. For example, the Trans Latin at Coalition asked us to do a Zoom interview with them about foreskin restoration to make a video they can host on their website. We didn't paint our crotches red or try to shock people by using the word mutilation. By being an inviting presence, more people were able to engage and ask vulnerable questions. I don't know why he doesn't like the word mutilation. I feel like that's exactly what would describe circumcision as a mutilation. But also, again, pretty interesting that he decided to go ahead and disown the painting of crotches red. I guess he doesn't like that. It's interesting that TTP brought that up. All right, and in 15 Square news. So, 15 Square peer support meetings. Join our weekly online meetings for men to talk about the emotional, mental, and physical impacts of circumcision. Open to all members worldwide. You can go click that link right there. It's on their Discord. UK, Europe is 1900 UK time, October 14th, 28th, November 11th, 25th, December 9th, and December 23rd. And then North American is 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific at October 7th, October 21st, November 4th, December 2nd, December 16th, and December 30th. So they alternate weeks. depending on if you're in the Europe or North America. So yeah, so definitely if you guys are a member of 15 Square, you can join their Discord and join their meetings. And in Gowdaf news, all right, so this is the Gowdaf newsletter. I'm going to go through this very quickly. Attorney training video update. So the attorney training video titled Circumcision of Unconsenting Minors, Strategies to Identify and Eliminate Legal Biases in Impact Litigation. The main thing here is that they're going to have Eric Klopper and David Llewellyn be interviewed. It's going to be filmed November 3rd. And then the companion video designed to educate potential plaintiffs will be filmed on the same day. Careful editing of the two programs, including insertion of B-roll, images, intertitles, and captions, will occur in November and December. And then it says that Gowdaf has applied to the California Bar Association for approval to offering continuing legal education credits for attorneys who access the 60-minute program. Approval normally takes 4 to 6 weeks. So I will definitely be keeping up with that and seeing about December time frame. We should definitely have an answer. So I'll even ask Gowdaf if they got the CLEs or not. And then it does say shortly after the first of the new year, the finished program for potential plaintiffs will be uploaded to Gowdaf's YouTube channel. The attorney training course will be placed behind a paywall where legal professionals can purchase access, which include a self-study manual containing supplemental materials to further their education on the topic of forced penile circumcision. And that's pretty much everything you guys need to know. You guys can go ahead and check out the newsletter if you want. Sexual justice, what can we do? We covered this already. And then a landmark article confirms the damage of circumcision and penile neurotomy. This does not have much to do with Gowdaf, actually. This is a Spanish researcher, Alfonso Cepeda, and his team have just published a landmark article. This has nothing to do with Gowdaf. I don't know why they even added this. I guess just to let us know. So, yes. Okay, and in the National Secular Society news. So, Scottish government mauling circumcision human rights compatibility. But it says right here, Scottish government says it takes child safety very seriously after parliamentary question on NHS circumcision of boys. So, we'll go and see what happens with that. To be honest, you can read the entire article, and it doesn't seem like it's going to go the intactivist way, to be honest with you. It says the Scottish government is currently considering whether NHS provision of ritual circumcision is compatible with new human rights legislation. I mean, if they do ban it for infants, that would be great, but I don't know. I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. We shall see. But also, the National Secular Society also posted "End forced genital cutting." Says we are committing to ending all forms of forced non-therapeutic genital cutting. This includes FGM and ritual circumcision of boys. So the main point here is that it says 62% of Brits would support a law prohibiting the circumcision of children for non-medical reasons. Only 13% would oppose it. It says there is very limited regulation of non-therapeutic circumcision in the UK. We do not know how many such procedures are performed annually or the degree of harm, as there is no requirement for any follow-up or audit, and the boys themselves are too young to complain. It is now being recognized more widely that non-therapeutic religious and cultural circumcision is a breach of children's rights. We want to see the same protection for girls' bodily autonomy extended to boys. Take action now. You can go ahead and write to your MP, ask your MP to support an end to non-consensual religious genital cutting, enter your postcode, share your story, and then you can also join the National Secular Society if you want. And together it says we can separate religion and state for greater freedom and fairness. So if you guys want to go ahead and do that, definitely can. I don't know if you're an American how much this would help because you don't have an MP, but you can definitely reach out and see what you can do there. All right, and in general intactivism news, so RFK Jr. says that circumcision likely leads to autism. This has been blowing up all over the place, and some intactivists are super hype and reposting it like, oh, this is a win for intactivism. Other intactivist groups are saying, no, this is not a win for intactivism. So let me know what you guys think about this. Is this good? Is this bad? I'm going to run a poll on this on my Discord, so definitely go ahead and answer that, and we'll go ahead and reveal if intactivists thinks that this is a good thing or a bad thing for intactivism, most likely in a week or two on the news. So definitely go ahead and join my Discord, and also in the comments section, say if you think if it's a good or a bad thing for intactivism, or if it doesn't even matter for intactivism. Maybe it really did not move the needle one way or the other. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Just for the full story, RFK Jr. did say that it was the Tylenol that they're giving babies that is causing the autism, not necessarily the circumcision. But people are saying that, oh, it's the circumcision that leads to autism. So I don't know. I feel like people are twisting his words maybe a little bit. But hey, you know what? Like I said, this could be good or bad for intactivists. All right, and on to the intactivist calendar for the week. So we have Intact Global's event happening October 23rd, which is like 8 days from now. The Hadashak versus State of Oregon. This is in 1200 Southwest 1st Avenue, Portland, Oregon, 97204. And you can also go ahead and click right here in this link and get a Zoom call meeting link, and you can go ahead and watch it remotely if you want. All right, 15 Square guest presenter Ron Lau, this is brand new, says join us on the 23rd of October for a discussion and informal presentation from Ron Lau, the artist behind the Foreskin Diaries. That is kind of insane to me that they decided to pick 23rd of October, just like Intact Global going and doing their litigation and court date. Eric Klopper clearly had this set up way before. But anyways, you can get free tickets right here if you want to go see that. The time is the 23rd of October, 13:30 through 15:30 GMT4. And this is also online. It's about 2 hours. All right, No Circ of Michigan. They have their last event for the year, Michigan State Medical Society Annual Bio Conference on Bioethics, Saturday, November 8th at 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. This is going to be at Doubletree by Hilton, 3600 Plymouth Road, Ann Arbor, Michigan, 48105. So hopefully we go ahead and get lots of pictures of that, and we can cover that on the news when it happens in about a month from now. Bloodstained Men just popped up with a brand new Chicago circumcision crisis protest, October 18th. It's for 1 day. It is dedicated in loving memory to the life and work of Carol Babiak. Okay, so this will be from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Chicago, Illinois. So super awesome. All right. So if you guys are in the area and you guys want to join them, they definitely love that. It's for 1 day, though, but it is going on for 8 hours. All right, and on to the polls of the week. So this poll is, should intactivists use and adopt a war mentality / tactics? This was last week's question. So the majority of people said no, intactivists should not adopt a war mentality / tactics, with yes and other being tied. I find this so interesting that most are saying not using a war mentality or tactics, but yet people also want more radical intactivism as well. So I don't know. I'm very conflicted on this poll data, but most intactivists currently say that you should not use a war mentality / tactics. Now, granted, this is a very small sample of intactivists. I do understand that. So once again, guys, if you don't like how this turned out, please go to my Discord and go vote, because your vote matters. And on to the fundraisers of the week. Brother K's birthday fundraiser for the Bloodstained Men. So currently there's 2 weeks left. He has raised $141 of their $4,000. So that's not too much, but however, it says, unfortunately, this fundraiser glitches for many people who try to donate. Please report such failure to support inbox and donate directly to our website. So I don't know if this is the most accurate amount. It might be higher. Not sure. I don't know if Brother K is updating this. I also don't know why he doesn't use GoFundMe per se. But if you guys want to go ahead, help Brother K out for his birthday, you guys can definitely go ahead and do that. So far, 6 people donated. Eric Anderson, Intactivism Equal Protection pursued in court right now. There is 0 people donating to this. Hoodie by Nature, support Hoodie by Nature fundraiser, recently got just a little bit more money this past week with $50 raised. just 16 hours ago, actually. So he's at 1150 raised, or 72% of his 1.6K goal. That is super awesome for Hoodie by Nature. Okay, your whole baby, LA Prego's Expo booth. They have raised $1,025 out of their $4,500, which is 23% of the way there of their goal. They have raised no new donations this past week. Okay, Intaction, which is more or less actually this is a health equality campaign fundraiser, just so you guys know, so it is not tax deductible. But it says critical call to support nationwide male bodily autonomy. He has gotten quite a few donations this past week. He raised about 2% more, actually. But he has raised $8,515 out of his $100,000 goal, or 9%. All right, guys, so this is a lot of math. Dr. Pecker's going to tell me how much it is in the corner. But if I had to guess right now, I'd say that Intaction raised about $800 this past week, which is super awesome for Intaction and Health Equality Campaign. But once again, Dr. Pecker will give you the actual amount in the corner of the screen. So super awesome for Heck. An awesome week for Health Equality Campaign. All right, and circumcision support genital autonomy for all at Pride. They're still at $1,190 raised out of their $1,500 goal, or 79% of the way there. So no new donations this week. Gowdav, they are still at $1,201 for phase 3. No new changes this past week at all. Okay, Eric Klopper, support Intact Global's fight against genital mutilation. They have raised $44,059 raised out of their 50K goal. So they're 88% of the way there with no new donations this past week. And if we check their donor box, let's see if they got anything. Nope, still at $410 out of their $30,000 goal, which of course that $30,000 goal was already beaten in the GoFundMe. So yes. Okay, Prevail over the system. We are still at 29% of our $15,000 goal. That is still super awesome, guys. Remember, if you can't donate, please use the POTS e-commerce program. Go ahead and join the Discord to learn how to do that, or help us on CareBuzz. CareBuzz is super easy, passive support for POTS, and it does generate us real money that does help us fund our cyber protesting campaign and everything that we do at POTS. So that would definitely be greatly appreciated. All right, and on to the Intactivist growth for the week. Last week, POTS was at 959 followers, and this week, Prevail over System is at 1,063 followers, or a 104-person gain, or a 10.84% growth week over week for Prevail over the System. That is super awesome. So the ads do seem to be working. We are reaching out to many, many people, and some of them are following us. So that is super awesome. All right, guys, that's all I have for the news. This was definitely a long one. Don't forget about watching review of the global outreach of POTS, and also Melina's part 2 interview. Is Intactivism and Judaism compatible? Please like and share to get this out to more people, and thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.
Prevail over the system. We rise through precision. Uplift transition. Reboot the mission. No fear, no fiction. Truth in transmission. Prevail over the system. Our vision's the difference.